And what do you value more? Because Jimmer right now is immediate help. He will come in an NBA game and he will make shots, which is the #1 thing coaches want.
From the basket, and then he goes around you. But listening to Kemba Walker, again, you hate
when he did the interview with Andy, he didn't have a smile on his face. It's almost like when he wanted to be out here. And I totally agree with you. In this setting, Chad,
Fran had to score a lot, but still had some of those point skills. Is there somebody else that we're looking at here that, are you sure you want to do that with 3 lawyers on the set?
Yeah, I do. I do, because
bring it on.
Last year at the LeBron James camp.
Well, I mean, again, we're talking about the NBA, and obviously it's a different game. But when you look at the college game, I think that Nolan Smith is probably one of the most admirable young men out here, simply because when you look at his career, you know, he's always been a shooting guard. He's always improved year after year after year. And this year, when Kyrie Irving, the point guard for Duke, went down, Nolan Smith had to learn essentially to be essentially a point guard. And this is a guy that, about character, this is one of those guys that is really off the charts.
Jimmer Fredette out there shooting right now, and basically every time he throws one up, people are expected to go in. It's almost like that Jimmy Chitwood scene.
I think he could go 0 for the combine, and people know he can shoot the ball.
Yeah, I don't think he has to worry about this right here. But we were talking earlier about him, and Tom, I think you said something good about fit, because I think a lot of success and failures in that first round are really based on, you know, how patient is the coaching staff, what role do they put you in. When I watch Fredette, if you think you're going to roll him out there 35 minutes a night, you're probably making a mistake, especially this early. Do you think he can get out there and give that kind of help to a team that quickly if he's playing that many minutes?
Well, no, of course not. Nobody's thinking 35 minutes a night or else your team's not good enough. I mean, he is more of a role player. On a better team, he's going to show better as an impact role player, banging down a big 3 when you need it, getting hot, coming in off the bench and just electrifying with some scoring energy. Game that way.
Well, if you're undersized, you better have the quickness to get to those spots, and also the quickness of release, the adjustment to be able to throw those teardrops and make them fall. And just as importantly, Isaiah Thomas is a lefty, and never underestimate the importance of being left-handed, the advantage that you have.
And if you're a college fan, guys, and you say, why would he come out this year? Remember, Abdul Gaddy comes back next year for Washington. Tony Roten's an outstanding point guard. There really wasn't much room for Isaiah, despite the fact he's the 6th all-time leading scorer at Washington. His stock was probably as high as it's going to be.
The thing that stands out for me about him is the NBA body and strength. When you watch him, he can finish with contact around the rim, and that is a skill at the NBA level.
And I think there's so many small guys, Chad, that can finish in high school and college at the rim. I think at Telfair, in a way, he could always finish, not in college because he didn't go, but, you know, you see some guys like Isaiah, you wonder, can you finish at the rim? And if he can do that, then he can obviously be a valuable guy.
Exactly.
We'll get some more on Isaiah Thomas, but here's Andy Katz with Jimmer Fredette's head coach at BYU, Dave Rose.
As they try to make the jump to the NBA, since you've played the position for so long?
Well, you want to see a guy's demeanor. Obviously, you want to see if he's even-keeled, if he can withstand, you know, the NBA grind, you know, because they don't really know if he can shoot the ball. You definitely need a point guard that can shoot the ball now, a guy that can play pick-and-roll basketball, because that's become a guy, obviously, the guy can shoot. You know, he plays the game a little different than everybody else, but he has a motor to him, I think. And
how does he play different?
You know what? He's a risk taker. And for me, I like risk takers. You know, I've always liked risk takers. And I don't think that they have comparable games, but you can look at a J.J. Barrera right now, and you can see.
It's all about the attitude and the approach to the game, so you can develop that.
Let's go back to Andy Katz.
J.J. Barrera does it as a little point guard. A guy like Fareed can do that day one because he's relentless and he comes in and that rebounding skill translates. So the coach looks down that bench. How can I change things up tonight when we're tired? Kenneth, get in there and make it happen.
He wasn't thought of as a pass-first point guard. It really goes back to Lynn's point about, are point guards made or are they born? Steve Nash made himself into the amazing point guard that he is today. If you watch him early in his career, he wasn't doing the same things that we see the veteran Steve Nash doing now. I think early on in Jimmer Fredette's career, he's going to make a name for himself by shooting the basketball and scoring the basketball. He's going to have to make himself into an NBA point guard, and that's probably, as Fran pointed out, going to take some time and some reps to get him there, because that's not what his team at BYU asked him to do.
We're going to take a look at Jimmer Fredette right now, the lane agility drill. We just saw Darius Morris of Michigan fly through that.
What we should look at with Jimmer Fredette is replays of him shooting the ball, because I remember you just mentioned Steph Curry.
Our coverage of Kyrie Irving of Duke, a top overall pick, at least projected to go to Cleveland at #1, decided, hey, he's not going to do the workouts, he's not even going to do the testing, which is different. We haven't seen that before. But there's also a new development on this story, not just with Irving, but somebody else. Let's check in with Andy Katz.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about a lottery pick like Kyrie Irving.
Position being drafted, I think Enes Kanter's people are looking at what teams will he be able to come and be developed, what systems are right for him, and we're going to try to discourage teams that we don't think are good fits. It doesn't always discourage teams. Sometimes teams like the Milwaukee Bucks drafted E. I think that's also a legitimate debate. I think they could take Derek Williams. They need a 3 if you want to put him there at the 3. I mean, they have J.J. Hickson at the 4.